Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Zenande, and in today's video I am doing a car review, also telling you about my process of buying this car and any advice that I have for you guys, for anyone who's in the process of getting a car. Okay, let's get into today's video, and if you have not, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Let's get to it. So the reason to buy a car for me was mainly to solve for my budget for Uber. I've never been a car person. I've never cared about owning a car really. I just needed something to get me from point A to point B, and for the longest time, for like 4 years, I didn't see the need to buy a car until my Uber budget started increasing drastically. Like, I don't know exactly what it was initially, but I noticed this one day I just started looking at my statement and just calculating how much I'm spending on Uber per month. And I realized that it was ranging between like 6k to 6.5 to even more than that sometimes. What was causing the increase was that I now go to the office 5 days a week, right? And then I leave the office during peak hour, and that means that the Uber prices sometimes double, right? And then I come back from the office to home during peak hour again. And I was like, since there's no way around the morning Uber prices, besides like leaving at like 6:30, since there's no way around it, I need to figure out what is the permanent solution to the problem that I currently have, because in winter it's going to get cold and the prices are going to increase because people need Uber. Anyway, that's the reason why I ended up then buying a car, or getting into the process of looking for a car. I remember calling a friend of mine because I don't know anything about cars, or at least I didn't know anything about cars. And we met at this other coffee shop and we were just talking about what is it that I want. And initially, I just wanted a simple car. I didn't want anything crazy. I didn't want to pay. Like, basically, my budget was 6.5. Anything above 6.5 I was not trying to get into, and that's because the 6.5 is the amount of money that I was spending on Uber per month. Okay, and because I did not know what you do when you look for a car or when you're about to buy a car, where I started was I phoned the bank that I use, and I told them that, listen guys, I need 275,000 for a car. I'm not willing to pay for anything above 275. And they said sure. They gave me the 275. I didn't know that I had 5 days to look for a car with that 275. So basically what happens is that the bank will tell you that, okay, you qualify for this amount and you have 5 days to look for this car that you want. If it happens that it's you don't get the car within the 5 days, they have to reassess if your credit score has changed or not. So when I went to meet with my friend, I had already spoken to the bank that I use, and they had approved this 275 that I had asked for. Right. Of course, I didn't get the car because I think it was like already day 3 of 5 by the time I was chatting with him. What I wanted to highlight was that I went to the meetup with my friend looking for a car that cost 275. And I was not looking for anything special, solve for my Uber budget, and that's it. And already the bank had given me the 275, right? And so he went and looked for the cars. I wanted a Baleno to begin with, but I did not realize that it was expensive. I didn't realize, basically I wanted a Baleno GLX, and that's like the high end of Baleno. And by the time we went to check it out, I think it was like 319, and 319 now is more than the 205 that I had, right? And suddenly what happened was that my decision to buy a small car changed. And it changed because what got to me was that actually this is the first thing that I do for myself. I've been working for like 4 years now, and I've been working for my family and I haven't done anything for myself basically. And so this is like the small thing, not, of course the car is not small, but it's like the first thing that I do for myself with my money ever since I started working. And that's where the idea of getting an SUV came about. And so the decision to get a car stopped being about solving for an Uber budget. It became an emotional decision. Emotional in the sense that it was like, listen, this is like the first thing that I do for myself. This is like, I've done everything for other people. I should drive the car that I want to drive. And that car now was an SUV, right? And so I went back to the bank with this new budget, okay? And I told them that, listen, the car that I want is now, the 205 car is now 319. And I'd rather get a bigger car with that amount, because the bigger car that I want is 309. No, I said 319. The car that I want is 345. Yes, 345,000. And so they were like, okay, sure, we'll take it to credit. They went to credit, came back, it was approved. Right. Now, I had an approval for a France, right? I had an approval for a France. I was excited. I was going to drive an SUV, and I was going to take it to my dad, and he was going to be so proud, because my dad loves cars. Like, if there's one person who really loves cars, it's my dad. And like, the one job that, okay, it's not the one job that he had done, but the one job that he did for a very long time is being a taxi driver, and so he loves cars. So I was like very excited about that. I was like, my dad is going to be so proud of me, like I was happy. And so I took the approval, and then I went to Suzuki, different Suzukis, looking for the car. I got, well, literally in every Suzuki in Johannesburg, Gauteng, the car, which is the Francs, was out of stock. And by Francs, guys, I was looking for like the high-end Francs GLX. Okay, sure. So I decided that, okay, sure, I'm going to be on the waiting list in 2 dealerships. All right. Sure, they put me on the waiting list. In one of the dealerships, I was number 17. In the other one, they told me I was number 2. Right. Bruh, I waited. I waited, guys. I was supposed to get my car in the middle. I think it was middle or closer to the end of February. They sent me a message a month later, and they were like, hi, your Francs is available for collection. And I was so excited, right? And they told me that because this car is literally not available anywhere, the price has slightly increased. And I was not willing to pay for anything more than what was agreed upon initially. Not necessarily agreed upon really initially, but the price of the car, literally the price of the car is 345,500. Yes, it's on the internet, and then you're trying to sell the car to me for 356. My sister. It didn't matter. Like, it didn't matter that it was not significant on a bigger scheme of things. It didn't matter that I was going to end up paying like 35 rands per month for the difference. It was just like a thing of, but the price of this car is 345. Why am I paying 356 for it? And so because of that, I said, listen, it's fine. I'll go look for another car. And so I phoned the other dealership and I was like, you still don't have the francs? And they were like, no. I was like, sure, get me a quote for a Swift, a Baleno GL, as well as a Baleno GLX. And then let me compare. And what was interesting is that I was going to be buying the car just before the year end of Suzuki. And so by that time, year end of Suzuki is March. And by that time they're trying to meet targets. And so I couldn't understand why the other dealership didn't want to reduce the price when they are trying to meet targets. I bought this car for 252 and it currently goes for 270, and it was cheaper because it was their year end, which was March, end of March, and they were trying to push volumes. Now if we look at the monthly payment, monthly installments, the bank that I used gave me a rate of prime -1, right? That means that the interest that I pay for this car currently is 10.75, right? I've heard and seen on Twitter that a lot of people are like, so many people are paying like very expensive interest rates for their cars, which I don't understand because, guys, this is literally an asset-backed liability in the sense that if you don't pay the loan, they can take your car. And therefore, you shouldn't be paying like a very heavy interest on a car. I've seen people, basically, they are paying 19%. 19% betuna. You need to shop around. If you need to leave your bank, leave them. Or if your credit score is really bad, then that means that you cannot afford a car, unfortunately, and you have to cut down your lifestyle, find a bus stop, and live like a broke person, because clearly you are broke. I'm not even saying that in a meanish way, but I'm saying that in a way that you need to like literally find quick ways to make sure that you fix your life. Fixing your life means that instead of using an Uber that's like 90 rands or 100 rands a trip, use a bus which should cost you 20 rands, and you're saving the rest to make sure that you get to a point where your credit score is better than it is right now, so you can qualify to get a car at a cheaper rate. And so because my interest rate is prime -1 on this car, then I am currently paying 4,910 something. It's basically 5,000, right? So per month I pay 5,000, and I know that's a lot of money, but it is what it is. So I pay 5,000 on this car per month, and then I've had the car for a month now, and so I think the standard sustainable, I don't know the word, but I think the petrol budget is going to be 1,000, or just to be on the safe side, it's going to be 1.5 per month. And you understand that that's already expensive, or that's exactly we're exactly at my Uber budget, and I haven't even started talking about insurance. I started first looking for insurance for a francs because I was on the waiting list for a francs, right? The francs insurance that I was getting was 2,000, 2.5, you know. And I was like, fine, it's an SUV, it's a little expensive. I'll take 2,000, I'll take 2.5 provided that after a few months I'm going to renegotiate it and reduce it, right? I was happy about that. Good, nothing to complain about. And then I changed my car, and then I phoned the insurance companies again looking for a new quote. And they were still quoting me 2,000 for a Baleno. And not any Baleno, it's GL Baleno. An very entry, when I, like, a GL Baleno, which is cheaper, and you are quoting me 2,000. I think Discovery quoted me 2.5, 2.7 even. I couldn't believe it. And so I kept shopping around. I kept phoning like different companies. A lot of companies had my numbers. I was getting like those marketing calls. I hated the process. I'm not gonna lie to you. I hated the insurance process because those guys call you every 2 minutes. I hated it. I literally hated it. At some point, I was like, I wish I could just take any and just move on, because it was exhausting. Okay, just calling people and they ask you the same thing, and they are charismatic, some of them. I did not have time for that because I had other things to do. You get. So eventually I ended up calling, or someone recommended King Price to me. I phoned them. My initial budget for insurance was 1.5 because even though my license is not new, because I did my license in 2020. I was supposed to get a car in 2020. But I could understand that I don't have any driving experience. I've never been insured for anything. I don't insure anything, guys. I don't insure anything. I don't. My phone, I bought my phone in 2020 for cash. Right now, I don't have a phone because all phones are expensive, and I'm not about to get in debt for a phone. It's just not my vibe. So I don't have insurance, and so I understood that, okay, fine, they're going to charge me a lot, but I thought 1.5. I phoned Ken Price. Ken Price was like, so we are going to charge you 1.7, and you're going to have access of 5,000. So I ended up going for King Price. What I wanted to explain in this insurance thing is that access, right? It's not access, it's excess. Sorry about that. So excess means that if my excess is 5,000, right? It means that if you get into a car accident, right, and the damage, in order to fix the damage, you have to pay like 4,000. That's a you problem. This means that the insurance company will pay anything extra or anything more than the 5,000. That's your problem first, right? I'm basically saying all of this to make sure that you guys know that if you know when yourself that you're not going to have 5,000 lying around somewhere, rather go for an insurance with no excess. Okay, because you're going to have a problem where your car gets into a car accident and you don't have 5,000. You're going to have a problem, right? Rather, they take it from you every month until you can reduce it, right? And apparently every 6 months you can just go have a review. I'm probably going to do mine every 3 months because I feel like I'm paying a lot and nothing has happened yet, and so that means I can drive. But anyways, guys, I'm going to my cousin's place right now. I'm going to get there and do a tour of the car, because right now I stay at my complex and I'm parking at the parking lot. I don't want people looking at me. So I'm driving to Loli right now to see my cousins and show them the car, and then I'll do the review of the car when I get there. Let's go!
I lost my ways, no words to say. You're on my mind, and time flies by. I'm cutting down the wires, I'm feeling kinda tired.